Call the meeting to order. First is our acknowledgement of Indigenous people. The town of Rocky Mountain House wishes to acknowledge that the land we are gathered on is Treaty 6 territory and a traditional meeting grounds and home for many Indigenous people, including Blackfoot, Cree, Saulteaux, Stoney, and Métis. Next is the adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions? Seeing none, would someone make a motion to accept the agenda, please? Chair Kalin.
Make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Next is our delegations. Today we are welcoming the Compassionate Care Hospice Society. Since we don't have your names, if you would come up, when you speak, if you could just push the button in front of you and turn your mic red. And if you could introduce yourselves, please.
Sure. My name is Jessica Bosman. I'm the Executive Director for the Compassionate Care Hospice Society. This is Marla Zpak.
And I am a volunteer with the Compassionate Care Hospice Society.
Thank you.
And then behind me I have my two colleagues, Christine and Megan. They're our new hires, and we'll get into what their roles are here in a little bit through the project.
Excellent. Thank you. Is it okay if I just go ahead and start? Go ahead, please. Perfect. So good morning, Mayor, members of Council, and members of the public. I want to first thank you all for sharing your time with us this morning. Our Little Hospice Society has seen so much growth over the last few years that we felt it was time to give an update as to how we were doing. And today we are not here requesting for additional funding. We just wanted to give an overview of our nonprofit, how we're doing, and spread awareness of our hospice society with you all. I kind of already did introductions. We are missing our marketing coordinator here today. She's one of our final piece to our team, and she's just at the office working. Her name is Melissa Drake. One thing I would like to mention before we get started throughout our presentation is that I want to acknowledge that I'll be using the term hospice clients when referring to those who have chosen to pass away in our hospice suite. And I just want to make mention that I use that term just to maintain professionalism. But these people were not just clients. Obviously, they were our neighbors, our business owners, community partners, and they might even be family or friends to people within this room. So I just want to please let you know that when I say clients, it's in no disrespect, it's just to maintain professionalism. I am referring to our local community members who are no longer with us. So, slide. So who is the Compassionate Care Hospice Society? We are a nonprofit organization with the mission to provide hospice care within the community in a home or home-like setting to all individuals and their loved ones, fulfilled by fully trained professionals and volunteers with respect, dignity, empathy, and compassion to meet physical, spiritual, and emotional needs through the end-of-life and bereavement journey. So what does that mean? It means we support a dying individual's right to receiving excellent palliative end-of-life care in whatever environment of their choosing. It means we strive to support a dying person's final wishes. It means we not only strive to offer support to dying individuals, but also to their loved ones before, during, and after the death occurs. It also means we want to provide as many free grief resources and supports as possible to our community as we can. Our values are focused on providing comfort and compassion, delivering quality care, striving for a high level of competency and commitment to providing palliative end-of-life care. So we're very fortunate to have the team that we do. We as an organization have seen so much community support over the years, and we've had the pleasure in working with countless volunteers as well as businesses and organizations within town and the county. Up until June 2020, the Hospice Society was solely run by volunteers. The hospice was able to finally hire an executive director in 2020, thanks to the town and the county, and then eventually hiring our marketing coordinator as well. Currently, our staff consists of myself, Melissa Drake, our marketing coordinator, and she's the one who handles all the fundraising events and the special promotion of our Hospice Society. Due to recently receiving a provincial grant, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a bit, the Hospice Society was lucky enough to hire 2 more staff members this past September, Megan and Christine behind me, and we have them until March 2028. Currently, we have about 22 hospice volunteers, 7 of which sit on our board of directors. Councillor Musker is one of them. But again, we also often have many helping hands within the community as well that aren't necessarily membership volunteers. And then slide number 4. A little background as to how the Hospice Society got started. Local volunteers saw a need for a free hospice space for families to utilize during the end stages of life. So in 2016, the Hospice Society was formed and incorporated. And then by 2019, the Hospice Suite was made available at no charge for community to use for their dying loved ones, with a life expectancy of 3 months or less to live. For 3 years, the Society fundraised. We received generous community donations and support from our town and county. We applied for grants while also developing contracts with Assisted Living Alberta, formerly Alberta Health Services, and the Good Samaritan Society. Once the tri-partnership was solidified, the suite was able to be open to the public. So how does that tri-partnership work? So Rocky Home Care actually handles all the admissions for clients entering into hospice care. They, along with the physicians and other professional healthcare members within the team, determine if the individual meets a certain criteria for hospice care. So examples of that criteria could be an individual must be designated a C1 or C2, which is comfort only in their goals of care. They must have a prognosis, again, of 3 months or less to live. Rocky Home Care also manages the medications that are required, and they review the palliative performance scale of that individual, among many other variables to determine if that client is ready for hospice care. Once admitted into the hospice, the staff of the Good Samaritan Society Clearwater Centre provides the 24-hour hands-on palliative care. This includes the personal care, the medication delivery, pain management. They also provide, obviously, the location of our suite, that is where our apartment is located. And I just want to say both the staff of Rocky Home Care and the Good Samaritan Society Clearwater Centre are simply wonderful. They've always been so wonderful to work with, and they are the angels behind the scene, making sure that our clients are very well taken care of. Slide 5. So what does the Hospice Society do? So the Compassionate Care Hospice Society financially supports the hospice suite. Hospice has also provided all the medical equipment needed for care, such as the 2 lifts, an air bed, Broda chair, shower chair, blanket warmer, as well as any palliative and comfort supplies required during the end of life. This could include mouth care items like toothets or sheepskins. The suite also comes fully equipped with daily living items such as linens, towels, kitchen appliances. The apartment is private and comes with a full kitchenette, a bathroom with a shower, a master bedroom with walk-in closet storage, a dining room, living room, a back patio with private access to which overlooks a garden area. It comes with parking, utilities, internet, landline, meals, nursing care, pain management, and a call bell system as well. Hospice also provides trained staff and volunteers to offer support for bedside sitting, to hold space at the end of life, or to provide respite for family. In fact, we once provided 550 hours for a family and a client for support during their 3-month stay. We have also done overnights for respite for family as well. The hospice suite is designed to offer space for family to stay 24/7 comfortably and to stay with their loved ones. It is kid-friendly and pets are encouraged to visit. In fact, we had one client who his little puppy dog would come every morning, and that dog knew exactly where to go as soon as they came through the front door, would run straight to their bed, jump on the bed, sleep on their stomach all day until it was time to go home in the evening. And that brought our client so much comfort at the end of life, and it was actually quite touching. What makes the hospice extra special is that we also try our best to meet final wishes within reason. For example, we once had a client who his wish was he just wanted to go see the buffaloes at the historic site one last time before he died. So Hospice, we arranged for a band to come. We arranged with the family and the nursing staff for care and medications. We loaded up the Broda chair with him and his family, and we went off to the historic site, and we spent a couple hours out there on a spring day, and it was lovely. As a hospice society, we do try our best to offer warmth and intention to each family. For example, we always have a welcome basket and flowers for every new admission that we have. Or we may, if we find out from the nursing staff or the family that, their favorite ice cream is vanilla ice cream, we'll stock the freezer full of vanilla ice cream so that they have something to eat if they're not really wanting full meals. Things like that. We just try to be meaningful as best as we can. The hospice suite is offered free for hospice clients and their families to use. We have now served 40 clients. Our slide says 39, but it is now 40, and their families since opening in 2019. And so we started out as an organization hoping to be able to provide a free apartment-styled hospice suite for families to use during the end of life stages. But since opening, we have grown to offer free programs as well. Hospice has served, it says 149, but it is now 150 families and individuals with free hospice space and adult grief support programs over the last few years. Our main adult programs that we provide are 8-week support groups, our individual one-to-one sessions, morning meals, NAV care, and our newest program, Compassionate Corner. The 150 families and individuals does not include, students at the schools that we've provided resources to, or our new project that's supporting teens and youth in our community. Next slide. So I'll just kind of give a little overview of our main programs that we offer. Our one-to-one grief support sessions have served 24 locals since 2022. It's a program designed to hold space for community members through their grief in a non-group setting. It is not structured like our 8-week program is, so that just means that it's really based off of what that person's need is at that time, whether that be looking for tools or resources in grief or just having someone to sit with and share in your grief. It just completely depends. Our volunteers are not counselors, however, they are trained and certified in bereavement facilitation. These sessions are private and confidential, and sometimes we have one-to-one sessions where the client comes back continually once a week, every 2 weeks, once a month, and then other times we have clients that come in for one session and share in their grief and just feel like a weight has been lifted and they just feel good to continue on. It just completely depends, again, on the individual. Our 8-week support groups are structured in the sense that each week comes with a focus that leads into the next following week. So for example, one week might be learning about the different stages of grief and tools for managing the different types of grief, whereas the following week may focus on navigating the role changes and family dynamic changes following a death. These support groups can have anywhere from 2 to 5 participants, with generally 2 volunteer bereavement facilitators. So far, we've had 11 groups and 31 participants since 2023, and we are currently working on filling a 12th group. And next slide. And so Morning Meals is a program we started in 2023, and so far we've served 46 families or individuals in our community. Essentially, it's just where our organization prepares meals to gift to grieving individuals or families following the death in the community as a way of showing support. Our meals are prepared in a commercial kitchen and then stored frozen in our office. It is based off of a referral system, so we get calls from the community requesting meals for other people. And of course, we always gain permission of that grieving individual first before dropping off any meals. And then the meals come with a brochure of resources, other grief resources in town and online, as well as cooking instructions for the meals that we provide. And then NAV Care is a program that is actually run through our organization, but is quite popular in other nonprofit organizations across Alberta and BC. Essentially, the program is designed to match seniors living at home with volunteers to do visits, phone calls, check-ins. Its purpose is to help battle against seniors who may be feeling isolated or lonely in our community, especially after a loss occurs. Slide number 9. The Compassionate Care, or the Compassionate Corner, is our newest program, and it's seen really great success so far. Our hospice volunteer, Marla, who is also a certified death doula and trauma-informed creative grief practitioner, is the owner-operator of A Good Transition. Marla created and manages this program, so I will turn it over to her to speak a little bit more of what that is.
Great. The idea to create a dedicated grief and loss support group for those with intellectual disabilities arose from my own experience supporting my dying brother, Andrew, who had Down syndrome, and the lack of services that were really provided for this sector of the community. I approached the Compassionate Care Hospice Society to see if they'd be interested in piloting this unique and frankly, never-trialed idea. To her credit, Jessica jumped on board and helped organize meetings with Rocky Support Services Society to pilot a program dedicated to these unique needs faced in our rural community. While we know that the experience of grief is universal, it's arguable that certain sectors of society experience grief in perhaps more profound and cumulative ways. Grief and loss within the disability community is different and deeper based upon a broader definition and experience of loss and a lack of agency and opportunity to process this loss. Also challenging is figuring out how to express grief as an individual with a disability. Differences in verbal expressive ability, mental and emotional capacity, physical health, etc., can make this challenging for them. The halt of expressions or feelings can even have adverse effects on social, emotional, or spiritual growth. In my experience, the biggest sense of loss expressed by participants is the loss of autonomy or agency in terms of how they live their lives. This grief, combined with other losses like job losses, caregiver loss, peer group loss, causes the most sadness and often frustration. The program works with 6 participants at a time and makes use of creative spaces through art, music, movement, writing, to express thoughts and feelings surrounding these cumulative losses. We finished our second session in December after successfully completing a previous session earlier in 2025 with fewer participants. We are now in the process of identifying individuals who would benefit from the third upcoming session that should begin in February. So this program is volunteer-led and run and would not be possible without the support of the Hospice Society here in Rocky Mountain House.
So aside from our hospice suite and our free programming, the Hospice Society stays very busy with various other projects and engagements as well. One of our newest being creating our small business, our nonprofit social enterprise, which is our Compassionate Care Thrift Shop. So we actually learned about the idea of nonprofit social enterprises when we attended the Healthy Aging Alberta Summit Conference a few years ago during a breakout session with a speaker named Sean Loney. The general idea is to create a business as a nonprofit to create wealth and sustain your organization. So a nonprofit social enterprise is where there is no sole business owner. The organization itself is the owner. So any generated revenue from the business goes back into the organization itself. So our Compassionate Care Thrift Shop officially opened up as a business in May 2025. But we were operating as a monthly fundraiser for about 9 or 10 months prior to that just to kind of see if there was a need in the community. We've seen success and support from our community since opening. Our only goal with having this thrift shop is to eventually not need to rely on community, cash donations, or financial support from our municipalities at all. We're hoping to one day become self-sustainable through our thrift shop and be able to pay all expenses of the organization through income generated from our business, as our organization does not receive provincial or federal funding, annual funding. Our store is run by staff and volunteers and is currently open Thursdays and Fridays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We collect in-kind donations to sell in the store, such as clothing, household items, kids items, that sort of thing. So the next few slides I'll just touch on is to show what else the Hospice Society keeps busy with aside from our suite programs and our thrift store business. A big one is palliative end-of-life care advocation. We are continually advocating along with many other hospice societies for things like grief resources for rural communities or funding for hospice societies across the province so that more free hospice beds and programs can be provided. These are just some of the avenues our hospice society has connected with and or advocated with over the last few years. I know that the town and county did a great job at advocating for sustainable support for hospice societies with the Alberta municipalities and rural municipalities, which helped actually kickstart the RMA Sustainable Community Hospice Funding Model report. Our hospice society also took part in working with the research and policy team of that funding model report. Aside from that, we've taken part in guest speaking panels, national surveys, ongoing government meetings advocating for palliative end-of-life care, and that's just ongoing. Slide number 12. We also focus on offering education and training regarding on grief, bereavement, and palliative end-of-life care. Some recent notable examples are the free community palliative training facilitated by the Alberta Hospice Palliative Care Association that we host every year. Our next training is in March, and we're already pre-registered spots 20 out of 25, which is really, really good. We're usually full house every time we host. We also recently supported the hardworking staff of GSS by offering education incentive. So we actually paid for additional palliative care training through Pallium Canada for the healthcare aides at Clearwater Centre, as well as we also paid for their time to do the training as well. Next slide. Our organization is also very active in providing memorial events and activities for the community as well. Here are just some examples. So our butterfly release, actually, we do every 2 years, so we will be doing one this summer. Next slide. Our organization is very active in community engagement. Our marketing coordinator puts a lot of time and effort into creating unique fundraisers and really getting into the community to spread awareness. We also do presentations, and we try our best to spread as much awareness of the Hospice Society as we can. Next slide. And we're very fortunate to have the relationships and partnerships that we do. Our Hospice Society would not have made it this far without all the amazing people, groups, and stakeholders that we have had the pleasure of meeting along the way. Over the last few years, we've really put a focus on growing those relationships and collaborating as much as we possibly can to offer supports in our town and county. This slide just shows a list of some of the examples of our partners, relationships, and group collaborations that we've taken part of. So applying for grants is a big part of our organization. Here's just a quick list of some examples of grants that we've been successful and not so successful in receiving since about 2022. The green highlights the grants that we have been successful in, and as you can see, our town and our county have always been huge supporters of our nonprofit Hospice Society, in which we are so grateful for. The red marks the grants that we were not approved for, and yellow is for the ones that are still under review. Most of the bigger provincial and federal grants that we have applied for haven't been overly successful in achieving, but there has been some that we were lucky enough to receive, such as the Alberta's provincial grant of CIP funding and Canada's participation grants. Most recently, Alberta Health was very generous in supporting our Hospice Society with a new project, a project that our Hospice Society has been trying to get off the ground for some time now, and we'll talk a little bit more about this grant and our new project here in the next slide. So I'll switch off here with my two colleagues, but I'll just kind of give an overview. So our Rural Youth Grief Support Project has been made possible by a 3-year grant funding through Alberta Health. This grant funding allowed hospice to hire both Christine and Megan to provide free youth grief programming and adult training to support youth grief in Rocky Mountain House in Clearwater County. Our Hospice Society applied for this grant back in early January 2025. And we received approval and funding July 2025. We have until whoops, we have until March 2028 to offer these free youth supports and training. And with that, I'll turn it over to Christine and Megan. Hopefully you guys heard me for the last few minutes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Weber, and my role within the Hospice Society and our rural youth grief support project is as our youth grief educator. So what that actually means is that the primary focus of my role is actually adult education. So in collaboration with Kathy Khmer and Carmel Maloney of Live and Learn Events, we've designed a 2-day certification called Supporting Children Through Grief and Bereavement. And this certification is going to run multiple times per year. It is free for all residents of Rocky Mountain House and Clearwater County. And it's interactive and is designed for anyone who'd like to learn how to support and hold space for children who are grieving. So it's not just geared for professionals, it's geared for anyone who might have children in their lives that may make use of this information. In the course, we cover topics like the basic biology of death and dying, how different ages and stages of development process death and their grief, how children's grief differs from adult grief, what to say to children who are grieving, and how do we care for ourselves and grieve alongside children. My professional background is in funeral services, where I've spent the last 21 years guiding somewhere over 2,000 families through the immediate days and weeks after the death of a loved one as a licensed funeral director and embalmer. For the past 4 years, I've also been working as an instructor with Mount Royal University in their funeral services education program. And my focus there is actually with second-year students, where we learn the value of creating meaningful end-of-life ceremonies, how we support bereaved families after services through things like estate care, grief care, and then how do we look after ourselves as those who are in helping and healing professions. In our community here in Rocky Mountain House in Clearwater County, hundreds of families are affected each year by the death of a loved one, and most of those families have children connected to them in some way. Whether it be the death of a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a friend, most of those deaths that we experience here in our community have children connected to them. So through this grant, our goal is to have between 60 and 90 adults trained in this supporting children through grief certification each year, because the more adults we have equipped with that information, the stronger our community is and the mental health of our community is. I'll turn it over to Christine.
My name is Christine Jaguar. I am the Youth Grief Program Coordinator. So my side of the project is actually working with the kiddos. My goal is to create free, accessible grief programming, and that's one-to-one supports, group supports. We're currently running sessions in one of the schools. We've run 10 sessions, going twice a week already, and that's been very successful. And I will be in there until February, and then we'll reassess then. I've been with the Compassionate Care Hospice Society since 2022. I've been a volunteer and an employee within the Wild Rose School Division for more than 10 years. I'm in my second year of my psych major, and I'm also an end-of-life doula. And so when this opportunity to come and be a part of a program that supports and creates resilience for adults and kids and just the community as a whole, based around such a tough subject and something that we all face, I couldn't imagine not having tried to come and be a part of this.
And so with that, that kind of wraps up our presentation for today. Again, I want to thank you all for sharing your time this morning with us, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. I'll try my best to, anyways.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation and everything that you do for our community, because all of us will get there at one point or another. So thank you very, very much. Is there any questions from counselors? Then seeing.
No,
Pardon me.
I was giving
Councillor
everybody a
Caden.
chance. Thank you so much for your time, and I have just a couple easy, quick questions for you. In the hospice, like the end-of-life room, if I didn't say that right, you can beat me later with a stick. You ever seen an overlap there, or maybe a lack of bed space?
So a wait list, yes. Oftentimes we do have a wait list. In fact, our most recent admission, we had 2 families trying to access it at the same time. That is always going to be a goal for Hospice Society, is to spread and gain more beds, but we're going to try partnership. So it also completely depends on Assisted Living Alberta's calculation of beds required in divisions, as well as occupancy rates, as well as if the Good Sam can handle that capacity because they supply the staff. I believe it's 2024, we actually were approved on every level of management through, at that time, Alberta Health Services to actually expand to a second suite. And we had the blessing of the Good Sam as well. And then just during the final stages of approval, the board of the Good Sam actually declined, not because they don't believe in it or that they don't support it, but it was just because staffing ratios weren't there, and they want to ensure that they are providing excellent palliative end-of-life care, and they don't want to overload the staff as well.
And my final question would be, it seems to me like coming into this meeting, I wasn't fully aware of everything that you guys did, and you've done a good job of making a presentation that we can all understand. But for all the programs that you do offer, what are the channels of facilitation like? Is it all referral? Is it like a principal at the high school reaches out, or a referral from a doctor? How do people reach out to you?
So it just completely depends on the program. For the most part, they reach out to the Hospice Society, so myself, through our business number. So for instance, for one-to-ones or 8-week support groups, or morning meals, they just reach out to me directly, and then I coordinate volunteers or staff members to meet those needs. In terms of, say, NAV care, we are referred through home care because they have access to the most seniors in community living at home. And then for, say, for our youth project, if it's for adult training that they're wanting to look into, then they would connect directly with Megan. If they're looking for grief supports programs for youth, they would just directly contact Christine.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else? Then seeing nothing, again, thank you so very much for your presentation today, and it's really appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Have a good rest of your day.
You as well.
Thank you. So moving on, the adoption of previous minutes. 5.1 is the adoption of operating and capital budget meeting minutes from December the 10th, 2025. Is there any corrections or anything that we've missed? And if not, can I have a Councillor Musker?
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I move that we adopt the operating capital budget meeting minutes of December 10th, 2025 as presented.
Thank you. All in favor? That's passed. Thank you. 5.2, the adoption of the regular council minutes for December the 16th, 2025. Councillor Schiffel.
Just a question on those minutes, 8.10, and that has to do with the evaluation of the CAO. I just think the wording needs just a bit of tweaking with that one. It indicates that we're, along with Ms. Quinlan, going to bring something back on January 20th, and I just don't think we're going to bring anything back on January 20th. I think we're going to be looking at processes. So I guess the part I just need a bit of tweaking is what we're bringing back on January 20th. I don't think we're bringing anything back on January 20th. So to that, if we could just tweak 8.10, then I would still move the minutes as circulated with a tweaking to 8.10.
Would you like to change the date, Counselor?
I would just like to leave that to administration, just to probably remove that date, or to review it and just make the necessary change, if that's appropriate. Mr. Kraus?
Well, that was the motion that was passed. So if council wants to amend it, they have to do an amending motion. But I think it's fine the way it stands. I think Ms. Quinlan is actually working with council now yesterday, so I don't think that date really is relevant. So
Okay.
I think we're fine with it, if council is fine with it.
Okay, fair enough. The second part would be the information on 59th Street closes that are brought up in inquiries. I'm just wondering if we can include that in our minutes or in our council pack next council meeting for the public to see. I was surprised. I was on the assumption we had 3 or 4 59th Street closes, and when the information came out, we have 5 within our community, which was more than I thought we were going to have. So I'm just hoping that we can include that in our next council pack, just for public information as to the report.
Yes, we can. Actually, I think when I responded to council asking it to be part of the core for information, so it'll at least be in the GPC meeting.
Okay, that's perfect. So then I'll just move the minutes as circulated.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will ask that for a vote. All in favor of the minutes? Thank you, and that is passed. Thank you very much. The delegation business of 6.1, Compassionate Hospice Society. Is there any discussion on that? Councillor Boniface.
Just wow. Good job.
Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. Of course, I'm very proud of my colleagues, Jessica, our executive director, and the rest of the staff, and all the growth that we've seen at the Compassionate Care Hospice Society. It is bittersweet, of course. It's a mix of emotions. We provide a service to those who have experienced loss of a loved one, and going through the grieving process, but being able to provide those services is better than not having them available at all. So I personally want to thank them for such a great presentation to council. I hope questions have been answered.
It was a very good presentation. Okay, Councillor Schipel.
Yes, also make the motion that we accept their delegation as information.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. Old business, 7.1, Rocky Public Library Board Public Member Appointment.
So thank you, Mayor and Council. So this is another housekeeping item. When I sent the draft minutes in, the advisor that I was dealing with basically indicated that we definitely need to include the word Rocky in the actual motion. So the motions are before you again with the term Rocky Public Library in them. So hopefully that satisfies what they're looking for on their end. So basically what happens is until this motion gets approved by the advisor, those members that are appointed are technically not even allowed to make a motion, so.
Okay, thank you. So I take it we need to make that two motions. Okay. Councillor Sinclair, would you like to make the motion? Where it says motion number 1, just read it.
Okay, I'll make the motion that be it resolved that council appoint to the Town of Rocky Mountain House Library Board Denise Boniface for a 1-year term ending October 31st of 2026.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call to a vote. All in favor? And that is passed. Thank you. Motion 2. Councillor Kalin?
Make a motion that it be resolved that council appoints Clearwater County Councillor Tyler McCauley for a 1-year term to the Town of Rocky Mountain House Library Board ending October 31st, 2026. Lori Sunday Cooper for a 3-year term ending October 31st, 2028. And Karen Travis for a 2-year term ending October 31st, 2027.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call to a vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next is 7.2, our travel and expense policy. Mr. Cross,
Yeah,
please.
thank you, Mayor. So this policy was reviewed by council in our December meeting, and council has asked it to come back with a couple of revisions for some consideration. So the first one was section 4.5. Council was discussing whether to have the listed rates in the policy or not. So we provided 2 options for council because we didn't, we're unsure which way council was leaning on that. So if you look under 4.5, the first option would be it just follows the CARA rates that are established on October 1st every year, and then they'd be automatically adjusted without bringing the policy back to council. So the alternative is that it still follows the CRA rate of October 1st every year, but the rates would be put into the policy, and it'd be brought back to council every October for ratification. So that's the first one. The next one council wanted to discuss is under 4.7B. With the loss of receipt, and it was brought by council, like maybe it's just not a receipt that can prove the expenditure, but also a credit card or a bank statement. So that's been included in the policy, versus just a receipt. And then the last one council wanted consideration on was 4.9C, and again, that's the 2 options with rates. That's the mileage. Again, following the CRA on October 1st of every year, the first option that it would be just automatically changed in October, and the second option is the mileage would actually put into the policy, and then the policy would come back to council for ratification of the established rate.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Councillor Musgrave.
Thank you, Mayor. I spent some time with this trying to get my head around what these changes and the different options and stuff, and I'd just like to open it up for discussion here. One of the things is that annually on October the 1st, the mileage and the rates will be adjusted according to the Canada Revenue Agency recommended numbers. Canada Revenue Agency apparently does this twice a year. They do it every 6 months. So on May the 1st, they'll do the same thing. I would like to see that in this policy, and the reasoning for that is, as we know, over the course of 12 months, the price of fuel can swing quite wildly, up or down, and having it just done annually in October the 1st may not be enough. If we do it biannually, as the CRA recommends, we will capture those swings. That's just my suggestion. I would like to see it in there biannually, and also that it automatically updates rather than it having to come back to council. It just happens automatically. It doesn't get politicized then around the council table. It just happens according to a standard that's out there. So those are the 2 things I would like to see in there if council is in favor of that.
Councillor Shipple?
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I too was confused when I was going through these, and so I'm thinking that with your change to the every 6 months, which I'd be okay with, where it'd be automatically changed, I was advocating at first that numbers would be right in the policy, but having read through it, I'm thinking where you're at is that they can be automatically changed. So I'm just not sure if, is option 1 the one that gives us that option, or option 2?
Option 1.
Okay. And then with 4.7 for the other evidence, in terms of that'd be option 1 as well?
It's in both options.
It's in both,
Yeah,
okay.
so the 2 options was just whether the mileage and the meal rates were in or out of the policy,
Okay.
basically.
So then, okay, so section 4.9, then if we change it to Councillor Musker's suggestion of every 6 months versus every year, do we need to bring it back, or can we just make that a change to option 1, accept option 1 with the minor change that Councillor Musker is suggesting?
It's up to council. Council can ask for it to come back for just to see the final version, or council can select option 1 with the addition to that, with the wording, the rates established by the CRA on May 1st and October 1st of each year. So that would be just the adjustment to 4.9 and 4.5.
Go ahead, Councillor Shipple.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I also make the motion that we accept option 1 with the changes to 4.5 and 4.9 to be changed, or to be looked at or changed according to CRA rules for May 1st and October 1st.
Okay, thank you very much. Any further discussion from anyone? Okay, seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All in favor? And that is passed. Thank you very much. Next item is 8.1, the Community Growth Committee bylaw.
Yeah,
Mr. Kraus.
yeah, thank you, Mayor. So council provided or gave first and second readings for this bylaw in December. So it is actually just coming back for council for consideration for third reading.
Councillor Shipple.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I'm just wondering about 4.5, where in 4.5, it talks about the CAO shall be a non-voting member of this committee. I'm wondering if I should say the CAO or his designate, in case he's not at the meeting. So I'm just wondering, I know in the next section of 5.2, it covers off that you can have someone else in your place. I'm just wondering if in this section where it talks about membership, if it should just add that you could have someone else instead of you. Just wondering.
Yeah, no, that can be added for clarity, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Does anybody else have any further discussion? Councillor Muskie.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I spent some time with this as well. It looks good to me. I think it captures the intent and the purpose of establishing this committee. Also, it formalizes the ad hoc committee that was in place and gives it more legitimacy. I was kind of mulling around the name of it, but I couldn't come up with anything better, so I think we'll just stick with the one we've got. Yeah, I'll make the motion then. Just give me a moment here. Be it resolved that council give third and final reading to the Community Growth Committee bylaw 2025/18.
Thank you. Councillor Shipple.
No.
I'm just wondering if we can do a friendly amendment to that, where we can add to 4.5, just the terminology, just to clear that up, CO and or delegate.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All in favor? And that is passed. Thank you. And does it require one more? Is it, or is that a third and final reading? Okay. No. Who would like to make that motion? Councillor Musker?
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's open for discussion who's going to be on this,
Oh,
this
okay.
committee before we make the motion.
a good
Certainly
point.
yourself as the mayor, but there's 2 other spots for councillors, and I would like to put my name forward for this committee.
Thank you. Councillor Shipple?
Yes, I'd like to also put my name forward, if I could, please.
Okay. Is everyone okay with the 2 members that we have? Then, I'm sorry, Mr.
No.
Kraus.
And there's also an alternate to this committee. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Councillor Sinclair?
I would like to put my name forward as alternate then.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Musker?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, we've got some names. I'm going to put the motion forward, and we can discuss it further if we need to. Be it resolved, the council appoint the mayor, Boniface, Councillor Chappelt, and Councillor Musker to the Community Growth Committee Bylaw 2025/18 with Councillor Sinclair as the alternate.
Thank you. Councillor Cahill?
When I was reading this over, I thought about the possibility of my position as an alternate in this capacity. And even though I have a pretty good knowledge of what this group is going to be doing and maybe even some insight to help facilitate, I felt that it was best that I didn't get involved because of my background. And I didn't want, maybe to, if somebody had some jittery feelings because there could be a capacity for competition in this group, I felt like it was the best thing that I just stepped back and stayed out of it. As much as I respect the mayor, is this a position that you feel that you can run with an open mind? And I only asked that question, not questioning
It's a
your
fair
judgment,
question.
not questioning your judgment, but I had to question mine. So in that, I just wanted to bring it to the table. Is this something that you've given any thought to?
It is, and I feel that I can be objective in it. I'm no longer involved in the business at all. My son has taken it over 100%, and I want to see our community grow. So, and when you were speaking about why you were backing off, I was thinking to myself, I think what you bring to the table is extremely important. So you could have been an alternate or on the board. I would have been happy with that too.
And I didn't doubt you for a minute,
No, I
Mayor.
know.
I just wanted to have that conversation, that's all.
Yeah, that's just fine. That's just fine. Okay, well, we do have a motion on the table then. If there's any further discussion, seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next is 9.1, Siska Nation Chief and Council. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So we obviously received this letter from the First Nation, and since then, they've also reached out and we have established a meeting for next week to meet with them. So if council probably accept this letter for information at this time, since we do have a meeting organized with them.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Caitlin.
So I'll make the motion that we accept this letter from the Siska First Nation as information.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Our next is correspondence for information. And Has everyone had a chance to read it? Counselor Shipple.
Also make the motion, we accept item 10.1 as information.
Thank you very much. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Do we have, oh, pardon me, action list? Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So just to go through the open items, starting at the top, the Rocky Public Libraries, the direction is to look at, to bring it to the ICC to create an intermunicipal library board. And that is now scheduled for February 2nd, the ICC meeting, which this will be on the agenda. And the draft report is done and sent over to Clearwater County Administration for their comments. The second one, is the capital budget, and it also goes into the third one with the self-contained breathing apparatus. So I actually have a meeting with Mr. Emmons and the fire chief this Friday just to go through that, to find, establish the rationale for the breathing apparatus, and then that will go to the February 2nd ICC meeting for discussion among those council members. The notice of motion from Councillor Stalker regarding the service level is now scheduled for the first February meeting, February 2nd, so that is in progress. The Rocky Mountain Chuck Wagon Association administration is acquiring costs for the few items, the top 4 items that he had on his list, and we'll be presenting that to council on January 20th for consideration. And cruising down, CAO performance evaluation. Ms. Quinlan has started that process. I believe she sent an email out to council yesterday, and I think she wants a short discussion with you guys today on the process. You can do that during council CAO dialogue if council so wishes. The next open item is organize a informal meeting with the Friends of the Rocky Medical Society, and that is in progress with no date established yet. And the last one with the town garbage bins is about increasing the size of the black bin. That report is actually complete, and we'll be bringing it to council on January 20th for consideration.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Kraus? Got to get a motion to accept the action list, please. Councillor Boniface, would you like to make that motion?
I move that we accept
I move that we accept the action list as presented.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any discussion? All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Number 12 is administrative inquiries. Are there any administrative inquiries today? Councillor Shipple.
Thank you very much. So it's been brought to my attention, the new signs, the wayfinding signs that are out there, the ones that are being put up, have breakaway bases on them. And the question was, have we over-engineered our new signs in town? And there's a big cost to signs, and I know that I'm maybe not the biggest fan of the new wayfinding signs, but when this was brought forward, the question was, why do we have breakaway bases on those signs when there's power posts closer to the highway than those signs are? Is this an overkill, an over-engineered cost that we're paying for that we didn't need to pay for? What determines if it should have a breakaway base or not? Because at this point, they're basically the only signs in town that they've seen that got breakaway bases. So that's the question.
I'll have to look into that for you, Deputy Mayor, but my first thoughts, it would have been a requirement of Alberta Transportation if it's adjacent to Highway 11 or 11A, because that's typically one of the requirements is for it to be a breakaway.
fair enough along 11A, but on 60th Street, they've also got them. And so, and the ones on 60th Street are 20 feet away from the road right away. They're on the other side of the trail system. So I just, the question was, are we paying for something we really didn't need to have to pay for? And is that what drove the price of the signs astronomically high?
Okay, I will have to look into and talk to our engineering department.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I didn't expect an answer today, but if we can get a report on that, that would be great.
Councillor Cahill.
Thank you, Mayor. Just so you know, those aren't the only signs in town that are breakaway. I know where there's several more, in fact, just for a point of information.
Okay.
Anything further for administration? Seeing nothing, then we'll move on. Notice of motion? Then before we go into closed session, I'd like to call a small break, 10 minutes, please. And we'll be back.
Looking for the breakaway braces.
Denise? We have resumed the live stream. Thank you very much. Well, welcome back. We need to go into closed session, so could I have a motion to go into closed session, please? Councillor Sinclair.
I will make the motion that we go into closed session.
Thank you very much. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.
We are back in.
Thank you. We're back from closed session. We have two notices of motion. First. Okay. Councillor Boniface.
Okay, I would like to move that the RFP be taken for information.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? That's passed. Thank you. Councillor Caden.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the CAO dialogue as information.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today for our meeting. Take care. Talk to you soon. Meeting adjourned.